listed on the agenda. Call 1-669-900-63 and use meeting ID number 822-0611-1989. If you wish to make the general public comment, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and you will be allowed 2 minutes to make your comment. If you choose not to attend the meeting but wish to have made a comment on a specific agenda item, please submit your comment. This comment should have been submitted before 5 o'clock today. They can be. For this moment, I'd like to move on to we will now open the floor to public comment. Business from the public on the agenda, any member of the public may address the commission for a period not to exceed 2 minutes on any subject on the agenda. The commission will listen to all communications but may not take no action. Any comments from the public? Seeing that there's no one here at the council chambers, do we have anybody on Zoom?
No comments on Zoom.
Did you get anything in writing?
No emails.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda. We'll go ahead and close the public comment. Moving on to our consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and by one unless any member has a question or wishes to make or discuss. In that event, the chairperson will remove the item from the Are there any recommendations or motions to approve as presented for the planning commission meetings? Like 14/20/2021.
I just want to let you know the work that went into that. We have Stella Ballmer, who was here earlier in the meeting, but it was not even finished, so before moving on in the city. And so I'm going to pick up basically you. Over hours to take it for sure. We're looking to the account for 50 minutes.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
Alice, for second. Sorry. Can you take a vote? All those in favor say aye. 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 Moving on to our regular agenda. The next item is consider approval of resolution number 2025. A resolution of the planning commission of the city of Goss recommending council of the ordinance 12.56 table 1 county districts teams of title 12 part 3 zoning district.
Great, thank you. So we're calling up the PowerPoint here. It'll be full screen in just one moment.
There we go.
Mostly full screen. Thank you. So if you turn to the next slide, I just want to share that these were proposed within this additional uses in the industrial zone. And in the images on your screen on the right is the whole city. But the unpainted areas are actually gray. The unpainted areas has blown up a little bit on the left of the industrial district, business park. And then you can see a little to the right in the center where the winery is, Constellation Winery, and some of those white areas. So the 4 or 5 land uses that we talked about tonight, adding to the industrial district, we'll only go there. The other commercial areas of the rest of the five greater areas. And with the next slide, I just wanted to clarify the purpose of the addition to land use industrial district. And, one of the hats I wear in addition to being planning director is, and part of that is, trying to find businesses for vacant spots and find how to clean up vacant spots so that they are attractive, so that people will want to buy them, everything like that. But also I'm trying to balance, other things that might happen in the city that we don't have an outlet for correcting. And so with these bullets here, the intent tonight on these conditions, zone changes to incentivize investment in the city's industrial park and to find new interest in long vacant, underutilized, smaller industrial properties, but also here to alleviate the residential neighborhood crush called here of extra vehicles and all the personal storage fees. Like folks have their garages stuffed with stuff, and so the cars are out on the driveway, and then the kids get cars, and the neighbors get cars, and the renter has cars, and those cars are on the street. And there's no place for the boat, the RV, or even the stuff. So it'd be great we have two negatives here, empty industrial areas and land, and real need for impacting the neighborhoods. So that's what we're doing, talking about incentivizing industrial park to help alleviate some of our residential needs and also enhance, the vitality of the industrial park. Also, in the matrix that we speak about, staff has volunteered on a called the more streamlined permitting process for the addition. Some businesses are really intimidated. So you need a condition for that, from the planning commission, maybe blessed by the city council. All right, we have to prepare a plan of action, and who, what, where, when, and all the things. But it's a little less intimidating sometimes to just work with the director to put together a plan and a page that says who, what, where, when, and why. And so kind of stepping down from the public hearing process on some of these things to something more, I can work with them to design the plan very well and have the directors. So we'll flesh that out a bit more, but it's certainly my suggestion. You as the planning commission, you say, hey, not so fast there. I think some of those things you're talking about need to come to our desk. And if somebody's scared away anytime, or just as for your own discretion. So with the next slide, I just want to reiterate, I think I will hear some of the discussions right now. The community is really blessed to be aware the city is well open normal land areas to set the storage and our neighborhoods. The neighborhood character in many instances is being defined by the extra blocking driveways, parking guards, crushing landscapes, preventing the safe passage of people and pedestrians on sidewalks. About every other month we get calls of those trucks are in the driveway and they hang over the curb, and I saw a mother and her child in the stroller had to go to the street, just to get around, because that's where they kept it. We didn't have a place for them. So we do have a problem there. And on the next slide, the code enforcement has been a problem. So we want to ticket everybody. Say, don't park there. There's no out. Where do they go? You park in the fields. There's really no sanctioned place for the fire-based storage. And so, the industrial district does have some vacant and available properties. And we can use them to affect some positive change here in the neighborhoods. And also, in fact, increase investment in economic return. That's the hope here. And so the next slide shows the proposed enhancements. I've got 5 bullet points here. And just to talk about them, you probably see the tables and languages. Things are either said that they're permitted, B, or there's a C that says it's conditionally permitted use. Or if the box is blank, it's generally not an allowed use for that addition. And so what we're doing today, and we'll see with the with the next slide as well, but I'm going to stay on this one for just a moment, sorry. There's, for the RV new storage yards, currently we have in play, because it's not permitted or even. But we've also had properties that are vacant for years that we see such things very well. Mini storage is an allowed use, formerly with the C, conditional use, to the planning use level to what's being suggested here is P for permitted use, a site plan review with directive. Sometimes when retail sales have not been anticipated in the industrial district, so that's a change from box that is not permitted to permitted. But what's interesting is we have use permits and we have other businesses like Green Valley Supply and some of those others that have big use permits to supply our industrial facilities where you can go buy parts. You can buy personal protective gear. You buy fertilizer, you buy these things. So we actually have companion retail sales occurring in the industrial district. Go in when it's, you need to buy some rocks, right? Or you buy that trailer hitch for your thing, whatever, you can buy that. So there is a, but it's been really tied to the industrial and agricultural kind of uses. And this, the wording on retail sales of the same, hardware stores, but also it's not worded in such a way that you're going to get a dress shop, right, or a haircut. All right, it's like, it's a retail sales that's really kind of meaty and heavy industry or of that caliber. You go load your truck out of something. You're not shopping at the mall. That's not the retail or adding very again to the district. And also I added thought occasionally medical services. And we will change to the next slide, and we'll go to caretaker and work a lot of units here. So the next slide, really shows the square boxes, the empty boxes that say not permitted. But like, let's start from the bottom of this recreational vehicle equipment yard. So where that big, do you see the district across the top that says I at the top of it? And so these are the different zoning districts. Go left to right. What can you do in a residential district? Downtown, highway commercial, neighborhood commercial, and it's the I, which is the industrial district right there. The far right, the P, that's public facilities. So that's the city courtyard or city hall. That's the public facility. But if you look at the bottom of this matrix, the P, recreational vehicle equipment storage yard, is that kind of an appointment? And that is the P there. The retail hardware had been a blank in the industrial uses section. It's we have retail industrial, and it says the tool sharpening, outdoor equipment, other really uses classes. But where I mentioned from the last slide was medical service. But you can see with the P and the C, and it's not another district. And that works great in the downtown. Maybe city manager really wanted that downtown. People will also to the post office. So we'll go down to the pharmacy after the dentist doctor. It's a complementary set of use. And sometimes you build medical facility as big as Taylor up there on Fifth Street, and they eat up a lot of that with kind of in a campus team. So I can understand why this was from use previously. But my thought was, if we had an urgent care facility want to move into the industrial district, I think it would be really great for an industrial accident, something like that, someone there could be a facility like that. I wouldn't want someone proposing that to be like, wow, I can't find any other place in the city, and you go to planning commission, the city council for all that. I wanna kind of nurture that and you to, you know, talk, and let the anxiety go down, that we get a good site plan. It would only be my hope that we could have, that kind of medical facility. I don't even have a bylaw on which property or have some two properties. Maybe even, you know, 10,000 square foot rental unit that's within a bigger building that we can do use. So that's what that suggestion is. And then as you move up the list for CDP and CDP for caretaker and mini storage uses. So that's what's proposed on the table today. And I've done, I have some folks that are much best. And with this is incentive for them to make an application. So I don't have a specific property or I don't have a plan on the table or a project, not doing it like that. But I've done some really great diagrams for folks that are looking to kind of do this stuff. You know, have RV and storage and stuff like that with others. So just to do our diligence here on the next slide, I want to share with you about the environmental review. The environmental review on the next slide. It's kind of complicated and it's kind of simple. It builds on 2010 general plan, law. And you have a 15 years past that you have already been published, but we really haven't had big circumstance change like big fires or earthquake or, you know, too many things that would just change the traffic pattern or demographic. So, and the whole general plan all that much about the history is pretty permissive. And so, when you change the zoning code, it's subject to state legal review. So I prepared all of that, and it's one of your attachments. But basically, it's a few pages of how we look at private policies that were in the existing 2010 general plan. And so, in short, the environmental document that you're, this is all in context with today is original 2010 general plan, EIR, and a few additional pages called data. And it basically describes how adding mini storage or adding so medical or adding RV storage is not going to present any environmental situation. In addition, you know, it's not going to be worse or anything than they evaluated in 2010. It's not going to be, it's not going to have some new impact that we didn't know about. Pretty like, these are pretty mild additions, but yet the incentive to show the public to, hey, shut on up, we want you to invest in the cities. And I've got a feeling with that storage. I wonder how fast it's going to go up. And I give people have an opportunity to try. Hopefully, you know, the streets will clear out and kids can ride the bikes, people can see fresh outlets, and they'll be happy. So, so I'm recommending that the council, that you and the council, go with them there. I believe that the proposed amendments are compatible with the city's existing structure, the surrounding land uses, and not have a negative environmental effect. So just the record for decision making, there are findings to be made on the slide that the commission needs to consider. There's local environmental findings offered that the addendum where no significant impact result analysis or recommendation, and we did not have to have a brand new EIR for this. And we just attached that additional work on top of the existing EIR. The planning on the next page is what's the criteria for amending zoning? So the big one is it consistent with the on the next slide. finding number two, is it consistent with the general plan? The general plan has industrial land uses and some of those industrial. Adding a few more, and even clarify how the retail is geared towards, having stuff that's really not a restaurant, not something running like that. And I believe the proposed amendments and streamlining are consistent with the general plan and designation as well. So all this can be open to questions, but we can find. But as we finish here, the finding C on the next page, talks about is a proposal, you have to determine proposed zoning or amendment will be beneficial to but not detrimental to the public health and welfare. And I believe one of these things where, I believe one recreational vehicle storage uses. To support decongestion of public streets and residential areas by providing legal designated storage areas, potentially improving neighborhood visual and traffic flow. While the retail uses that are neighborhood and city serving that are, retail uses that are compatible with mixed industrial and commercial character.
Unlikely to generate adverse effects beyond those previously analyzed. And on the next slide, I've already shared that I think medical services would have a negligible impact to traffic. It can serve as a vital public health and safety function in the industrial context. And then I just, what about a caretaker or a live work dwelling unit? If we're going to have people use their boat and their RV in their front yard, and now it's going to be all the way across town in the dark, stored over there in this new place. If we allowed or facilitated that an on-site manager or a caretaker unit, caretaker could also live on site, I think that enhances a business model and would deter vandalism and theft, and also be probably welcomed by the people that want to rent space for RV storage. So those are the economic development hats that I've worn with the planning division. We don't have a person paying for this like a project proponent. I did it in my time between all the other projects and Vista Lucia, and I'm hoping that it will help incentivize investment in the industrial district if we can be passed by the city council. And also really start to have a relief valve for all the extra cars and vehicles. So with that, I conclude that I recommend the Planning Commission adopt a resolution that recommends that the city council adopt an ordinance amending chapter 12.56, the table 1, summary of zoning districts, and permitted uses of table 12, part 3, zoning districts. So you have those attachments that are in your, I didn't need to make extra slides for all of those, but I did have that summary table, and that really concludes my presentation there, and I welcome any questions that you might have.
Before commission discussion, we'll go ahead and move into public comment. Being that there's nobody in the public here at the council chambers, I'll go right into the Zoom. Do you have anybody raise a hand or anything of comment?
No comments on Zoom.
Okay, we'll go ahead and close public comment. With commission discussion, I'll go ahead and start on my left. Commissioner Delia, do you?
It's yours.
My only question is, how would we, I guess, motivate people to actually use such a facility? Because I have, at least in my neighborhood, it seems like people probably do have that option to store their recreational vehicle, maybe in one of the neighboring cities, but they choose to have it in their driveway because, or out on the street because it doesn't cost them anything.
Well, maybe for those who think Soledad or Salinas or there's one out Los Palmas too, right? Los Palmas, there's a RV storage out there. It's kind of a market question. But if we start ramping up code enforcement, and if someone starts one of these businesses and they can take, 300 vehicles and have many storages that's secured, no longer will our residents say, I've got no place to go. I've got no place to go. So it's, and if we do get that kind of business, that's also where I had vacant and tumbleweeds and grass and nothing contributing. I've got a place of business that looks nice, it's been invested in, it's got a few employees, and it's helping. So yeah, it's kind of a marketing question you asked. That's fine. That's great. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Is it possible to take me back to the map? Didn't follow well enough to kind of be clear on where it was going to go in terms of location.
That side of Alta.
That side of Malta, just somewhere
Across the
else.
railroad.
Got it.
Those rules would apply to all of that. And then if you stay on this Alta went down, you're in the Constellation, winery, like that. That's also the gray industrial.
All those will be
area.
available for this.
Braga is industrial area, but I'm not expecting that,
There it is.
it doesn't seem like they would entertain those things.
Okay, so all that gray, there's a lot of gray there.
Yeah,
There is some buildings there already, though, right?
right. That's where these rules, these,
Rules would apply.
yes, yes.
So, I guess. Got it. That makes sense now. No, I don't have, I'm certainly, I feel personally just, I feel like I could use such that kind of a facility for my own person. I do have a RV. Luckily I have the space for it, but I would rather not have it on my space.
And there's folks that even have them nicely tucked away on the side of their yard behind the fence.
Yeah.
And might like to not have that there
Yeah,
so that
that's-
they can do something else.
That's me. Yeah.
Chair Pro Tem Ramirez?
Yeah, so this is just clarify, we're just going to give you permission to try and find someone and not have, so that they don't have to worry about the permits?
In a sense, it's like if we enable these rules,
Right.
I'm hoping the investors and I can call people, hey, you like to list industrial properties, did you know if you have a buyer that you can do this now? And did you know we've got some vacant properties? So would you like to step up and do something?
But it's more like giving you permission to not have to have a meeting to get the permits.
Correct. But in the end of the day, it's really interesting planning stuff. We've got all these terms that are really the same thing. So if I've got a drawn plan and I've got regulations of who, what, where, when are you gonna operate, how intense, what are your trucks, tell me your hours of operation. You can call that a site plan. You can call that a conditional use permit. Some places you'll call it a master plan. Some places you'll call it a general development plan. All right, but it's all a plan and a sketch that I would hold somebody to the standards of the code. They're not getting away from not building something. If we've got a fence standard that says you put a fence in that looks pretty, and you plant vines and grapes on it because this is what we want, we'll have to get that on plan before it's approved.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that you have someone right now, there's a timeline for this. You still need to find.
I've got someone chomping at the bit, but I don't have the physical, they haven't shown, I don't have a building drawn or the size of the yard or all the nuts and bolts, but the real wind of, oh, wow. I've built many storage units in other communities.
There's interest is what you're saying.
I've got a real strong interest.
Okay,
To clarify, what I'm hearing him say is that no longer will they have to come to planning commission, it will be done administratively. Correct?
And that would be your trust of me.
The other question I had, as far as the caretaker, is it for
Mm-hmm.
dwelling units? If it's possible to be avoided by ways of gated storage as opposed to someone living there. Might be a little more question.
Can you just try some new words?
Like if you have a building that they can live in, but they're helping watch the facility or whatnot. It doesn't have to have a home, it could just be gated, but.
Doesn't have to. Correct, the self-storage facility does not require a caretaker or an overnight person. That would be an accessory, that would be almost like a sales brochure. Hey, not only can you store your boat here, guess what? I've got eyes on the computer here with the motion sensor lights all the time. And the city knows that person living here. That's kind of what that is.
So it would be up to the builder or developer to decide whether they're going to have a caretaker there or not.
Correct, it's not a requirement, it's an option.
It's an allowed use, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I want. And by the way, if I could, zoning code, the one that we're amending here, the square table, the table with the squares and the 1972. Since that thing has been comprehensively refreshed. We've had computers come into play since 1972. We've had all kinds of world events and things. There used to be a time where you didn't have a business that was in a neighborhood that had UPS or FedEx trucks coming into the neighborhood. That was business. We survive on that now, and it's just part of our fabric. It wasn't anticipated in 72. So times have changed, and I'm trying to be a little cognizant here that we need a place for mini storage and RVs. Yeah.
Please, do we have versus storage needs, you know, we were talking about stuff in your garage and stuff like that. Do we have an ordinance about keeping our front yard clean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We got a lot of letters out there. It is an eternal problem. We have to take life, health, and safety issues first. I mean, there was about 2 months ago, there was just a refrigerator in the front yard of a house with the door on it. You know, which actually is a felony for potential child endangerment, right? Kids, oh, hey, let's go get in here, and then they can't get out, right? Remember the old freezers with that latch? There's no way to get out from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are some scary things. So we have to go with life, health, safety. Yeah, we've got semi trucks without the rig on the back, parked all the way up to basically touching the post at the front door and parking on yards and things. Trash and garbage, yeah. And we try to do several things. Just here in October, we waived the go get a garage sale, go get a yard sale permit from the city. We're gonna have citywide yard sale. We put it in so that everybody could put their little star on the map. And for that day, you could go to, 3 dozen yard sales that were all advertised. And it was timed so that it was the week right before March 11 and the Tri-Cities pick up your big, heavy, bulky stuff and take it to the dump day. All right. And so if they unpacked their garage with stuff, or they just had stuff and it didn't sell at the yard sale, we didn't want them to put it back in the house. We wanted them to have the opportunity to put it in the bin. So we're doing things like that, Commissioner Velasquez.
My other question is, in industrial district, you talked about renties, storage unit there. What about, just the space in someone who rented space rather than storage unit.
Oh, yeah. I sense a series of garages like around a perimeter. And then parking areas to pull in the middle. And you can have things on. Right, and then a key gated entry where maybe you go in and check with the manager and they wait you in and you go in, do your stuff, and you head out. Or hey, you go get your boat, you bring it to your house, you load it up for a day, and then you go on vacation for a week and get back to your house, unload it at your house, and then you go put it back in storage. Those kind of things.
That was like a storage unit, just a space. Like, if I were to rent a space, I would space number one.
Yeah, think of it like a big parking space, probably about the size of a semi truck. I think there will be spaces for vehicle rigs and trailers. A lot of it look like a parking lot. Right? But part of our development standards in just the industrial district, with any industrial district development, is we do have design standards on how the architecture of the building should look. You know, this kind of roof, that kind of roof, how should the sign look? Here's your landscaping options. So we have guidelines since 2008 for how to you build a new industrial building. And you might just think of how nice the fence is around like Taylor Farms right now, right? They've got the plaster pollinators and they've got a nice fence around it. It's decorative. That's in our regulations now. You know, so even if they're getting a site plan permit from the director, we've got a medium high bar for them to get a nice design in there and have it work.
Okay.
I've got an additional question, so sorry, but go ahead and ask.
Before I go away, go ahead.
Yeah. Just curious, just to understand what this is for myself is that, and I think it's piggybacking on Alex's question is, so is this just allowing you to go, obviously open it up and chase this, but as, say, an example, this, the storage deal, so that type of business, if and when it's really turned serious, they would never come in here again and just kind of, hey, this is a real
Well, they're at
proposal.
the city hall, we're working on planning, they're gonna talk to all our staff and everything, but.
Well, like, will this team know about, hey,
Yeah,
this
I
is
could
gonna go?
report those things to you, or you know what, you just might feel entirely comfortable or with wanting to say, you know. Maybe I'm part of the victory too, they're at the city commission level, and we are gonna have them do a use permit, and let's you know, have it be a conditional use permit, that's within your prerogative.
No, and what I mean is, you know, there could be various things that go in there, so how would this team know that you're working on that per se versus
Yeah,
not?
what's going on that I meet with you more than twice a year. So that I
Yeah.
can let you know, but,
Yeah.
you know, we do the city, do you guys get the city manager letter that goes out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Things like that, so I can report through that, department generally asks the department heads what's going on, and, you know, hey, look, we got a major investment going on at, you know, Alpine Street and Catherine.
Yeah, add to that, I think, I remember a while back, we used to, each department would do activity reports. Are those also done?
Yeah, those are still.
So those are where you would be,
I don't know that we consciously distribute them to you.
yeah, we don't get them, don't get them. I know that they're on part of the agenda, the regular city council agenda.
Department note to selves, activity reports for plan commission, absolutely.
So I think we would, any permits that come through there
You
that,
know what, I can't believe I haven't even thought to give it to you guys, oh my gosh. Because I report monthly on how many building permits came in and what the valuation of those, hey, you know, 3 solar permits, 1 ADU, and, you know, 4 water heaters.
Mhm.
You know, we do those.
you know what's going on.
Yeah, so we have those, so a little update on code enforcement activities, how many cases do we start or close?
Mhm.
Economic development activity that we have, like next month, we're gonna have groundbreaking for that freeway sign that you granted approval for. They're gonna start the construction on that in January, and, next month, December.
Well, okay, I guess that answers my question, so an activity report kind of keep us in the know of what's happening versus like, hey, that's happening over there. Well, I don't know, because we gave approval, right? So,
Commissioner Pop, I want to apologize. I don't know where my head's been to not have you on that.
so that'll be through an email that we would get, through an email or a report we have to pick up at the city hall, how that works.
Oh, it'd be, as soon as I get it done, I can email it. We have to give it to the council first, but yeah, if you're on any of the distribution for the council,
Yeah.
city council packets,
Yeah.
they're in there.
Yeah.
But I can, like Deck Cars, I can pull out the ace of spades.
Mhm.
I can pull out this report.
Yeah.
And
If we can just get monthly reports, I would
you guys.
request, just to see, just that section. We don't need the whole.
Absolutely.
Great. That's just my.
I do have a couple of questions and just comments. So I'm just curious, I'm familiar with the industrial area. You mentioned that there's a lot of empty lots or smaller lots. Do you know about how many there is left to, because I know the industrial area has been pretty active. There's been a lot going on. Do we have about an approximate number?
Could you open my PowerPoint to that opening slide that Commissioner Paco wanted to look at? Industrial district. Might I get up?
Sure.
Do a pointer?
There you go, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so they remember that the housing. We added, worker housing as an overlay.
Right,
Industrial.
correct.
All right, those are the particular properties that are vacant right now. Those right here, this side, just for orientation, the wind towers that are,
Okay.
Mhm.
the big towers in the sky are right here.
Mhm.
All right, and so these are vacant, and about 2 acres apiece.
Okay.
And they have older housing overlay, but they're also owned by the big producers there. I think,
Taylor.
Taylor owns 2 of them.
Man packing.
Another interest owns, another 2 or 3 of them. So it's not allowing them to do it, because they want that for their own business expansion, things like that. So I'm not expecting those to shine. These down here, this is a detention facility right here.
Mhm.
Detention.
Water retention.
There's a water, stormwater retention. This is vacant, and this one, code enforcement, but we've got another facade. You gotta look ahead of the game, that's where we used there before we went out. So we put the headache for the. But like up here on, so here we got supply.
Mhm.
Right? This is outlet, right? All right, so there's about 4.5 acre spot. Okay, this one is about 4.5 acre right there. And, we've been getting, people, would be super for a store and all these storage and private storage. And things like that.
Okay.
And there's, this right here is the labor camp that, recently got demolished by Rico. But there's other properties that,
Okay.
that are out here on the east side, to the north,
Mhm.
west side. So there are a few, all right, but, I'm not quite sure all today.
I just want to get an idea of what we're looking at. And the reason I ask is because aesthetically speaking, if some of these are along the railroad track, for example, like the Alpine, some may still be visible on Alta. Just depends, I guess.
Okay, we got the gym
Mhm.
class, and we've got, actually, our next
Mhm.
project, we're going to put the big one, the kind of, I think, we call it,
Caraccioli. He's more
Yeah.
north, yeah.
Just if you're gonna build a new industrial building, it's required to have, fencing and landscaping and screening.
Okay,
So we actually might want to see if it's gonna be pretty.
that's where I was going with. That's where I was going with, because yeah. I was going with that because I was wondering I think the idea of allowing storage for whether it be self-storage or car or boat, whatever it is, or even a trailer, have a place to store it. There is a huge issue here in Gonzales, so I think it would definitely, hopefully, encourage some of these property owners to transfer their property over there or what have you, so they can get use of their driveway and their garage.
Yeah.
It would help with that. But at the same time, I would hope that if somebody does decide to come in and apply and get it approved administratively, should we approve this, would be that they have enough, that there be a condition of approval where it specifically states that there needs to be some screening, make it aesthetically pleasing.
It's baked into our
Okay.
regulations, and I've got 30 years of planning experience.
Perfect.
in Architecture and design review. So
Okay.
I know how to-
So that's where I was going with. I wanted to make sure that, you don't want someone just to put a bunch. I've seen other places where there's storage and from the street, you could see into the chaos of what's inside.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that's where, and then as far as the just clarification on the caretaker, so it's specifically for something, for example, like a storage unit where if they choose to have somebody with 24-hour care, then that will be for that employee possibly.
Well, it might even be something else. Think if you've got one of these a packing facility that's used to 3 shifts, 24/7, but for a 6-month period, they're not going to do their night shift. For whatever reason, they're going to do 2-day shifts. They might want somebody still on the property. Is
Gotcha.
it going to be a wide awake, 3 guards with a lot of coffee? Or is it someone that just live there? I don't know how you apply.
Okay.
But I just didn't think it rose to a conditional use permit, like, oh man, there goes the neighborhood, we better really make sure that adding a caretaker unit doesn't throw off kilter the whole industrial district. It's
Okay.
not gonna happen. That's really kind of old school, really 1970 old school that we wouldn't allow that to exist.
Okay. Those are mainly my questions and my concerns is it is an industrial area and I understand it's going to look a little bit rough, but at the same time, it is prime real estate. So we need to make sure that aesthetically it all.
That it doesn't remain vacant for another.
And
20 years.
if it is, I mean, it remains vacant, that at least it be shielded from.
You got it.
Okay.
And I would report happily with that activity report.
So last question about that. So the stuff on the opposite side of Alta, that's all taken property between the Braga and the winery. That's all, nothing vacant there. Sounds like.
Well, they've actually got some grapes planted on some of it.
Yeah.
It's industrial zone.
Yeah.
Right, there's that kind of that pretty, it was nice, right?
Yes.
Well, we've got the nice-
Oh,
It's all here in front of the library, but
Yeah.
that looked nice.
That's all spoken for already in the sense.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
If we have nothing else, can we consider commission action? Are we ready to?
So, the request in the
Resolution is that you're recommending that the city council take the final action to change the box to Cs and Ps.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number PC 2025-10. A resolution of the planning commission of the city of Gonzales recommending that the city council adopt the ordinance amending chapters 12.56, table 1, summary of zoning districts and permitted uses of Title 12, R3 zoning districts.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Delia? Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Ladies' choice.
Going on to the next item, consider approval resolution number PC 2025-11. A resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Gonzales approving a conditional use permit for solid bulk boxing to operate at 201 Alter Street, Gonzales, California, 93926. Staff report?
Yes. All right, thank you with the slide deck, if you could open that up to number 1. Okay, thank you. Yes, Salvador Watson, three. Just as an introduction, I think most of you know that, the boxing gym, they moved in and opened business and really didn't know that they needed a permit. And they used to be in a small box behind the laundromat over here on Fourth Street, not even with the restroom. I mean, a small box, meaning like a box of 1/3 the size of this chamber right here was their whole program. And the kids would have to use the restroom up there, and they moved, and they went across the street. They found an empty place at the industrial park. And so this is really trying to just formalize and do the review, to get them legal. The applicants have made an application with us with the paperwork and documents and everything, but it needed a use permit. The dog is such a healthy and wholesome thing that city wasn't gonna shut it down and say stop. And, but that's what we're here today, is to kind of right the ship, and get this, really, this use that kind of represents a lot of the Gonzalez way, with the proper permit. So, if you look at the slide there, I have Alta going left and right. And you see the red box, which is the most southern part of the industrial building. And the darker line below that red box is the railroad tracks through the city. And, you know, the square box is approximately 3,000 square foot, part of the warehouse extension of the Alta properties, right there in the industrial district. So, on the next slide, I've included a few pictures of that, where you've got some industrial sized doors and also some people sized doors in there on that 3,000 square foot box. There's a non-striped free-form parking area. In other words, first car there parks in the right spot, everybody else parks next to the right, so it probably could use a little paint. But it's adjacent to the parking area. And just a little bit down Alta, if you wanted to cross into downtown to get food at the market or something to eat there is a pedestrian activated crosswalk warning at 3rd Street. So, you know, you don't have to drive to this property, and if you need to cross Alta, this should be pretty safe with the, you know, you push the button and the lights flash and the cars stop there. I wanted to describe that. The next slide. Basically are some of their operations. They offer boxing, strength and conditioning, speed and agility training, and they have some monthly and also some annual maintenance fees. People can ask for private training sessions, or if you wanted to come in once a week, you can have a training session on that kind of schedule. Or if you wanted to drop in, it can be $10 a day, and I guess you get some coaching there, you've got equipment. Those are the hours, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, in the afternoon. I'm expecting our applicant, Andy Mansera, to be on Zoom. I'm not sure if he's joined us, but we're not going to speak just yet. But he shared with me today that he won't be able to make the meeting, but he hopes he can do it by Zoom, and that he does agree with the conditions of approval that will be asked of the project at the end here. And it's interesting, they say they cater to minors 7 to 17 and adults from 18 all the way up to my age, 101. So I think that's kind of cute, but I put that in there. And with the next slide, it talks more about the facilities. That there are those doors, there's about 3,000 square feet. And the workout area includes open and padded floor areas, punching bags, speed bags. Remember we've all seen the Rocky movie, right?
Absolutely.
Right, and speed bags, weight training, benches and racks. So those are the things on the inside. Of course, there's also, and your standard water fountains, fire extinguishers, personal equipment like face guards and all kinds of padding and other things that support the sport. And with the next slide, just, you know, it's conceived as a health and wellness opportunity facility to keep members healthy and psychological, emotional, and physical standpoint. That's how they consider themselves. And it also serves about 50 children, adolescents, and even adults monthly with boxing lessons and body strength and conditioning, even speed and agility. And from what I've heard from the coaches, they kind of try to do it with healthy life lessons and mentorship and try to be good examples where they feel sometimes maybe some of the kids don't have all those examples in their neighborhood, that they try to show themselves as being respectful adults and kind of in a teaching and nurturing mode. And the next slide, I love this one. You guys might have seen it in the Tribune recently, but young Miss Kayla, young Miss Pacheco won 2 trophies recently. She's one of their students, Izzy Pacheco. Those are our two applicants right there. Is Andy Mansera and Kayla Costa. They are the it's a 501c3 nonprofit business, and they are the directors. But she won a trophy for winning her bout and others, and is a good example of what they hope to do there. It's a lot of pride. So with conditions of approval, with a conditional use permit, there's generally, we say, yes, you can do that if you do it like this, if you do it like this. And so there are some notable conditions of approval that have been included here that we believe, staff believes should be part of the use permit. The commission is free to remove, strike, or add conditions of approval if you feel there's something that would better protect the health, welfare, and safety of this use. That's why we're here. Is that you, if it's you can mold it if you feel like I've missed something. You say, well, what if, you know, we needed this, or, you know, it could be not, it's not even silly, but you say, you know, I think there should be paying for the parking lots of the cars that want to park. You know, I don't know why I didn't have that, but that is the thing that the commission fully can do with this use permit. So in the conditions that are added to the resolution, which is the conditional use permit, that they need to be compliant with the next slide, please, with code compliance, and whether that's the building code, the fire code, the safety code, or any other health and permitting, those need to be there. We want them to maintain their certifications with USA Boxing, as they've kind of described in the materials that they've submitted. It also would be sharp here for them to, I believe, maintain certifications in first aid and CPR, and also the automated external defibrillator. And I was just speaking with Mr. Mansera today, and he's like, "Oh, I can get that from so and so. I'm going to talk to so and so." So he's pretty excited about that too. He kind of wants that skill set himself to offer for his students. And also, one of the conditions in the use permit is that we do expect, and we'd be really happy to have special events. But that means if there's going to be extra people coming, that they've got a plan for that a little better. You know, do you have extra wash stations? Do you have guided place for people to park? Or they're going to have to think through a few things if they're going to all of a sudden open it up to bigger events. And Mr. Mansera shared with me that it might not be happening for a while, because even the Boxing Association, if you're going to do something like that, you've got this shopping list, this huge to-do list of things, and it's expensive. So I just wanted to get in here in the use permit just in case, but the feasibility of having regionals or some kind of an invite like that is far on and not here yet. You know what? With the use permit and a legit business license, you know what that does? That makes them eligible for like Monterey Gibbs and the financial donations of donors and philanthropists that want to support, you know, the children and the mental health and the physicality of these things. So this, I'm glad to have a permit in front of you today that can help them, get those ducks in order so that they can be more successful. And with those investments, they can have more training or even more security. And also, one of the notable conditions is that they need to maintain general liability and professional insurance set to enough to satisfy the boxing organization, and that will be continuously renewed and in effect. And the next slide talks about, remember we had findings for the zone change, we have findings for approval of a use permit. And so we have to be able to determine here, and I gave some evidence in the staff report. I haven't bulletized it here to make a big deal of it, but you need to find and believe that the use is necessary or desirable in relation to the intent of general plan, zoning ordinance, or the economic, social, environmental status of the city. We all know how much we've heard about the Gonzales Way. And if we have something like this that takes in youth and provides good example and physicality, I think we're there. The use will be related to other uses, transportation and other public facilities in the area will not cause undue environmental impacts, noise, odor, pollution, etc. Well, I think kind of the inverse here is the area and the industrial district, and I don't want them to be affected by noise, odor, or pollution. So part of being code compliant is that their facility will be in good order, but they are on the transportation corridor. There's a safe way to cross the street. I'm not sure where the bus stops, though. I should have looked to see where the bus stop is. But even if people get dropped off, if kids get dropped off by car, there's places on site where you're off of Alta and you're not having to cross in front of big industrial trucks that are loaded up. Right? It's kind of at the end of that facility. So I think it's pretty safe. And that the use itself will not adversely affect the health or safety of persons living or working in the city or be detrimental to the public welfare. So I think if you look at this use and talk about it, and you can share that we can make findings for all three of those. So with that, next slide, I'm going to conclude that staff recommends planning commission. This does not need to go to city council. You are the final actors here. That the planning commission adopt this resolution of the planning commission approving a conditional use permit for solid gold boxing to operate a tool on Alta Street. And although I haven't heard that he's online yet, Chair Marcus, I believe Mr. Madden Sever, brother to our former planning commissioner, may be online to share with us. So that concludes staff's presentation.
Is it online? As we kind of, just in case we have questions about this particular.
We have Andy online.
Andy, do you have anything you want to share before we go on to public comment?
Pardon me, would you mind repeating that? Are you
Andy,
able?
did you have something to share with us?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Can you hear me?
He's talking.
Is it translating on the right? I can't see what that said.
Are you able to hear me? Gavin, are you able to hear me? Hello? Hello?
Unmute.
Hello?
Andy, you want me to try to call you on the telephone and
Sure.
get the old paper cups together?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This is not working. Do you mind if I try that?
Sure.
All right, so Mr. Mansur, I tried to call you and your phone is off. So we
Kevin.
can't speak with you like that. So we're gonna have to ad lib. I did ask Mr. Mansur today, just in case this happened, if he was accepting of the conditions of approval as written. And he gave me an email in the affirmative. So I have that at my desk. I did not bring it in.
Okay, being that we got you. We just want to give them a moment to do my thing, but I'll go ahead and move it to.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, you're live, sir.
I'm in.
Yeah, you're live and nationwide with the planning commission right now. Oops.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
I was online. I could hear all of you, but you weren't able to hear me.
Not at all, but we're all hearing you now, sir.
All right. I just want to say, thank you to Tavin, thank you to everyone that's been supportive and the community in general. I mean, I've been humbled by the support. I mean, I currently right now the gym is flooded with members, but I had to obviously step outside for a bit, and I explained to them that I had to take a phone call, that I would be back. But the support has been more than I ever imagined. I appreciate the community. I appreciate anyone and everyone that's willing to support us.
Chair Vargas, did you have questions for Mr. Mansur?
Not at this time, but I'll go ahead and I'll move into public comment and then if the commission might.
Okay, Andy, stay online here. We're gonna go through some more of the formal processes here, and I don't know if we're gonna speak back with you, but hang on, just as you're doing right now. Thank you.
I'll go ahead and move into public comment, being that there's nobody here in person. I'll move over to Zoom. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
No question on Zoom.
Okay. And then for commission discussion, we'll move on to there. And then we'll start with Gloria.
Mention that.
Turn on your microphone.
Okay, it mentioned that you would have, that there would be first aid available and that kind of, I don't want to say minor stuff, but you know, smaller things. Would there be an actual medic on site?
No.
Okay. And another question on the insurance, you mentioned that they will have liability insurance. But I wonder if, like the schools, to the athletes, they sell, or they used to sell insurance where the student or the parents could buy insurance for the child in case they got hurt. So would they have something like that available?
I could ask.
Okay.
I don't know what the protocol, how the chair, how you want me to do that.
We can,
And Andy, do you require any of the kids to have individual insurance, or is it all under the umbrella of your certificate from USA Boxing?
So the USA Boxing Liability Insurance covers all my USA amateur boxing fighters. The non-fighters have to sign a liability waiver.
So they
Non-USA boxing members, all the minors, their parents signed the liability waiver. The adults, they signed the liability waiver. And the ones that are covered by the USA Boxing Liability Insurance are only the fighters and the coaches.
So they don't. Is that
No,
right?
no, what it sounds like though is they've got several levels of protection of either the business not going under because the waiver has been signed, but also if they're a stronger athlete in doing the fights and everything, that they're covered by a larger insurance umbrella.
Okay, so my understanding is that they don't, there is no available for a parent or an adult to buy on their own for additional coverage from the Boxing Association, right?
they wouldn't offer unless they're only.
They wouldn't
fighters.
offer it. Okay. The next one is, would they be moving to our new area over there? Once more buildings, more rooms or whatever are
No, I
available?
don't think so. no.
You don't think so? Because I thought that when we were talking about
approving that site, that they would be moving over there
I have-
from the little spot that we're at.
You have any plans to move into the community center?
No, sir.
Yeah, I know, I think the rent's
Didn't
gonna be
think so,
too
huh?
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so too. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Romero?
I was gonna say, I think if the individual parents will talk to their insurance, they should offer insurance for that. My only question is, there's no fence around that train track, and I know that it becomes a parenting issue, but I'm wondering if the city of Gonzales can be held liable if a child runs to the train and something like that occurs. That's my only concern. Is there a liability form that he would have that tells him to stay off that train track? And if yes, does it prevent the city of Gonzales from being liable for that issue?
That's a good one.
Andy, the concern is that some of the kids might run onto the train tracks and not have a good outcome. Aren't they pretty much, under your roof and pretty busy?
Yeah, they're occupied. We're always watching them. No one ever goes near the tracks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back on the industrial area, if there is a fence anywhere along that east side of the track that just stops something.
It's a fence for all the tractors. There's no fence that right behind the building, the train tracks are there, but there's no fence here, but no kids ever go near it, ever. No one ever even bothers looking that way.
So,
We're just occupied training.
so would we be held liable if a child runs back there, or is there a liability form, something that releases us from liability for, like if someone's just parking, getting out of the car and their kid runs out there?
You know, part of his application is Mr. Rancero's not gonna sue us for allowing him to do the business that he wants to do. And so
Okay.
we've already got an indemnification there.
Mm.
But it is fully within your realm, if you wanted me to explore with them, whether we can plant some prickly shrubbery or something that's there, some kind of deterrent to, you know, just walking accidentally onto the tracks, or maybe even a small fence. I mean, that's a who, what, where, when, and why. That's a physical thing. What I don't know is, you know, the property owner has allowed him to rent the box
Yeah,
inside, and how much he's willing, he or they, the business entity, to make improvements elsewhere on the property. But also, you know, even paint, don't cross this line, train that way, you
yeah.
know, so maybe, I wish I had a more solid answer, but kind of our, yeah.
Kevin, I can answer that. The kids aren't allowed to leave the building.
Why is that? Because it's in an industrial district?
Yeah, the kids aren't allowed to leave the building. None of the kids, none of the minors.
Just a question in general, the building itself,
No, my consent, they have to even ask me for permission to go to the porta potty.
as a question in general, the building, I know we saw some pictures inside. Is there access to the back, I guess? Because I see
He does
that,
have one back door.
He does have one back door.
Fixing the tracks, right?
is there maybe a way that he can, I think a way to alleviate is to go ahead and maybe put what is it,
An
an
alarm.
alarm on that door?
Do you have panic hardware on that back door? No alarm sound if they go out to the back potty?
There's no alarm back there, and the tracks are nowhere near us.
Yeah, it's another 75 or 100 feet.
Oh,
Okay, okay. So,
The tracks in the actual gym.
okay.
But
So,
to your point, safety though, as we make sure that he's up to building codes and things like that, we can, it won't hurt us to get an alarm on that back door so that You know, if someone goes to the restroom, you can turn it off and they can go do their business and come back in, or all of a sudden the alarm sounds and you go, hey. But it's a good little jog to get to the track.
Allowed to leave the building without my consent, if they're underage, or Coach Kayla's consent. They're not allowed to leave, even if they're in high school. They always have to inform us, Coach, may I go to the restroom, or I'm going to the restroom, yes. Or I have to step outside to make a phone call, yes.
Anything else?
But other than that, they're never outside. Everyone's always inside.
It's kind of questions of the applicant.
Yes, he's talking about his clients, I guess, or the folks that are in there doing their thing. But what about kids from outside that are not his clients that just seem to be playing there or walking, you know, over the tracks or something like that, and they fall and they hurt themselves? Now, he mentioned that they were 75 feet away,
We need to.
but it's still near them.
Yeah, we need to stay focused on what his application is. That would know. Anything else? Commissioner?
So what was the answer?
We need to focus on what his application would apply for him. He would not be responsible for anybody else.
Okay.
It's focused on his application.
And
Okay.
there's about 75 to 100 feet
Yeah.
of
Yeah, but-
cushion right there.
If not-
You know,
So-
yeah, but folks don't know that,
Yeah.
that this part is his responsibility and this.
No, but I'm
Here
referring
it's
to the
not.
children that are enrolled. He's responsible for anybody that's
Yeah.
enrolled in his program, not,
Yeah, Commissioner Velasquez, if you got 5 kids riding through on bikes, it's not.
That's not his.
for him to
Okay.
control.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so I was just gonna make a comment to the business saying that I think it's good to have an outlet for minors, something that offers mentorship, discipline, values, and promotes their health. So yeah, that was it.
You just got a gold star from Commissioner Ramirez.
Delia?
I just have one question. I'm very supportive of this program, but I'm just curious, currently you're operating at just in the evening hours, Monday through Friday. Like, is there plans to also run it during, like maybe during the day, during summer or school breaks?
You generally open at 4:30. I think that's because you've got a day job.
I open up at 5.
Yeah, I think that's because you got a day job to put food on your own table. But what if other hours were considered? I did not lock down hours of operation. I merely reiterated your hours. We've not done that. But if you were gonna add other hours or other trainers that could be there, how would that go about? How would that happen?
I mean, that just depends on how many people we can get to train in the morning. If they reached out to me at one point, a handful of gals, and inquiring about whether or not I'd be willing to host an all women's class. And we tried it at 6 a.m. They didn't show up. They didn't show up. And I mean, training's it's not something that most people embrace. It's a lot of work. And if they're welcome to come and browse and sit in and watch how hard we train, because we don't just do boxing, we do speed and agility, strength and conditioning, and we're going. It's nonstop. I mean, they even have to ask me for permission to drink water. They have to earn the water. Everything has to be earned in my gym. Nothing's handed to anyone. There's no participation award. Everything has to be earned.
I was thinking of signing up. Now I'm not.
I explained to them, life is much more challenging than you all believe. And if you can make it through this, you'll be all right in life. You're gonna be all right.
Discipline.
Yeah.
So there is a possibility that those hours could be extended.
Mhm.
Okay.
But remember what we've done here with the suggested conditions of approval is that additional training would need the certification would need the CPR, would need the DFib. And you know, it's not just going to be, hey, I'm putting an ad in the paper and I've got a 17-year-old that's going to, teach 12-year-olds. And they've got to have the certification and the insurance and
We
be.
have to have a background check done. We had to provide our social security numbers to USA Boxing. They do a background check on us.
Perfect.
All right, through the chair, how are you?
Any-
Go ahead.
No? I don't have any questions. I do have a comment about the parking in the front. I know that, I've seen it a couple of times and actually saw it when there was kids walking into the building. The front of it is not paved and it's not marked. You mentioned striping. I would like to add that condition, if we can, that it be properly striped. And the reason being is it's right off of Alta Street, which can be very busy at times. And I think that if we just kind of leave it open, there's a parking, there could be two cars or one car. But I think if we designate the parking, the proper, the lines and it's striped, I think it kind of sends a message of only one car. And it kind of gives the person that's going to park there in a way in, oh, this is how I got to go in. This is for safety reasons. I think it's right off of Alta. There's a lot of traffic passing by. So I don't know if we can add that into conditions.
Mr. Mancera, did you hear that?
No, I did.
Okay, so Chair Vargas is suggesting a new added condition of approval that would probably have you sweep enough of the rocks down so that we can get some real paint on some real stripes for some parking spaces, and also where you can drive to get to those parking spaces. Just a little more clarification on how the vehicles move around the building and where they're supposed to park. And maybe the chair of Vargas would entertain that something like that is accomplished over a couple months period, because he's going to talk with
give
the
him enough
property
time.
owner, and it ends up resulting in safety for everybody.
Right.
I can do that myself. I can paint the parking lot.
Right, but there's you got City Hall to deal with here, because there's the right size parking space and there's the right size drive aisle. And let's get our eyes on it with the city engineer to help you out there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because we share that parking space with the employees, because they have the packing house here, and we share that parking space. And I mentioned to the packing house manager that they should paint the parking area. They should make the parking spaces. I said, you can't see it anymore.
well,
And
there's,
he said he would take care of it, and it's been a couple of months now.
well, I imagine the commissioner is Commissioner Vargas is going to float the addition of that condition, which means it's tied to your business and your responsibility, and to help you get your property owner, give him a little more adrenaline to get that done.
Most likely, he's gonna tell me, "You do it," and I'm all right with it. I'll get it done.
And you do it through me, okay?
Yes, sir.
It's just a safety, just for safety purposes.
Commissioners, that's perfect. That's perfect. It's health, welfare, safety. It's a new condition of approval, and it'll lead to clarity at the site. Marvelous.
Yeah. Other than that, I think it's a great program, and I think it's a great thing to have.
I think a suggestion with regards to the amount of traffic at times that just to do it on Alta Street. My suggestion would be to place some speed bumps, because people speed on that street all the time. Some speed bumps would be ideal.
Get some, throw some sandbags out there or something, yeah.
Yeah, because some of the kids are crossing the street.
No, I've seen the coolers get out at 3:55 and 4 o'clock, and you gotta get out of the street, man.
Yeah.
They are jamming home.
Yeah, the semi truck guys, they speed as well. I'm just thinking speed bumps would be ideal.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mancera. We're kind of wrapping up our processes here, where you've now kind of shared your presentation and questions and answers, and we're going to give it back to Chairwoman Vargas here to take us over the line here with maybe a motion.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Thank you to everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
We'll move on to commission action. Being that I requested the addition and the conditions of approval, I would like to move to approve PC 2025-11, but with the addition of the striping requirement as an additional condition.
And with an understanding that we'll phase it in here.
Yes.
As soon as we can. It's not gonna Yeah.
Right, we'll work with the applicant, if you can, if you can just work with them to make sure, but at the end of the day, it will, maybe it'll give a bit of a push to the property owner and to the next door shopping, I think it's the packing shed, whatever it is, maybe a little bit of a push to get that done and help him.
So what I'll do is, if that is the motion that gets approved this evening, I'll make the modification at my desk on the resolution. And Nina and I, Nina and I will present that for your signature here by Wednesday,
Okay.
if that's the motion.
If that's, if you guys are okay with it, I need a second.
I will second that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion approved with the amendment, with the addition. Move on to business from planning commission, oral communication. Anything that anybody would like to share? Delia, I'll go over on the left first.
I have nothing.
Nothing? Paco?
Negative.
I
Ellen?
have one.
Uh-huh.
During one of the council meetings that I went to, someone had mentioned someone living in a fifth wheel off their street. And I wasn't sure if there was a way to maybe have a city ordinance about living on camping. Well, no camping on the street, but it's a fifth wheel, and I guess the man's living in there. And
On a public street.
on a public street,
Property.
right?
It's on Shanty. It's on Shanty.
So,
Chianti.
Chianti. I'm aware that it has been reported to the police, but what happens is this person moves the trailer,
like just forward and back, but it's still there.
but it's
Yeah.
still there. And it's been there for at least 2 or 3 years. Yeah,
But
They're living in it?
yes.
That's different from actually keeping it on the street, am I correct?
yes,
So we got two separate issues. It's like one, okay, they keep moving it, so you can't go and use a 72-hour code issue on it. But if they're living in it, isn't it a separate issue?
Yeah, we're really kind of. If I was just sitting in my car awake all night, do I get a ticket? But only if I fall asleep like I do.
well, I think that,
It's really hard. Yes, folks are trying to do the best they can in so many situations. I can bring that up with our police department. It's not a land use situation here where we're regulating what you can do on your private property. It's in the street. It's a public right of way. There's a broader set of laws and a broader set of provisions actually that have happened here since all the COVID and homeless efforts. I can take it under advisement with the chief. I don't know the answers right now, other than the 72 and people move it, but go ahead.
I do have another question though. I thought we did have an ordinance that said that you couldn't park your RV overnight in the street.
And which of the hundreds do we ticket?
Mm,
I think you made great headway today with recommending the use permit for, the storage yard, but it's going to take a while for us to unpack these neighborhoods.
But is there an ordinance that, am I correct in thinking that there is an ordinance that you can't park your RV in the street overnight?
If it's got a motor and it can drive under its own power, no, there's not. It's just your boat that can't.
No,
drive
okay.
On its own day.
Yeah, I guess I want to clarify.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, I want to clarify. Yeah, if it's an RV that doesn't have a motor, like a fifth wheel or.
Fifth wheel that's connected to the truck, it's fine. If he disconnects the cab, drives away from the truck, the back part becomes, hey, you shouldn't do that.
We have both those issues.
Right.
We, in our subdivision.
So connected, no violation.
Yeah.
Disconnected, but it's really difficult.
Just to add to, I think our concern is there a plan to address these issues that we've been kind of voicing for months about code issues. I know there's issues with lack of staff and there's, sometimes the inability to address it. And I understand if you're going to address one, how many do you address? I think we talked about maybe even doing inserts where we start informing. There should be a plan where we could start slowly. I know that, if you talk to one, if you set up a violation on one, then you got to do all of it. It's kind of where do you start? But I think we need to start somewhere. I guess that's.
I think now that we've got the Vista Lucia project that's supposed to go into decision, there'll be more bandwidth for you to take on some of those things. But I think actually, between my work on the zoning code and your actions tonight, your recommendation to city council, some of the strongest new thing we're bringing to the table to help unpack some of these neighborhoods so that we can increase our code enforcement and we don't have to answer the question of, I know we don't have any place to go, but it's the rules, just stop it. I believe we're gonna have the investment that allows these things to happen, but it's not gonna be overnight.
I do agree with you, that a storage yard is still a storage yard. They're not gonna allow these people to live there. And if they're living on the street with their RV, they're not gonna use the storage facility to store it because they're not gonna be allowed to live there. Right?
I'll have to address that with the chief of police.
Anything else? Gloria? Your mic.
Along with Tencia's issue here, we've also talked about tow trucks that are parked here and there and everywhere. What are we gonna do about that? Is that something along with what she's talking about?
Those trucks go probably on Rincon, and elsewhere, they can park there, but they're not allowed to block the sidewalk or hang in the public street. And so they're rarely that long. I think they're longer than that for the driveway. So what's interesting is that they can be in the street. When they go do their work elsewhere, you're done with the part of it. You have a snap-on tool truck, right? You park it at home. If you're not selling tools at home, they're not doing towing activities right there on Rincon. He's driving to a place of business and doing that, bringing the work truck home, where we have issues of, and the irony too, I mean, you see the little sign in the driveway, it says, no truck, no parking. Well, think about that, if that was enforceable, or if they're not gonna park there in front of that house, they're gonna park in front of that house or over there. But yeah, all the little short driveways and public driveways, it's all very together. And that's a hard street. For some reason, it seems extra narrow and all the vehicles seem extra wide. I don't know what it is.
Well, as far as like Rincon is, my parents' house is on Rincon and so is your parents' house on Rincon, and we have issues. Many times possible accidents because it's so narrow, and then when you have vehicles like that, I mean, you're saying that we can't tell them not to park in the street, but they shouldn't. I mean, I think overall, for myself, we need to start somewhere. I know the challenges that we're facing as far as where do we start, but I think we need to start thinking about a plan. So whether it start being by educating our residents, whether it be through social media or through the mail inserts, we need to start telling our residents what is and is not allowed, because there is, by us saying, well, where do we start? We're kind of sending the message that.
But also to Commissioner Pablo's point earlier, hey, share an activity report. You keep up the status, by in such a report saying, 13 people were contacted and things initiated about extra vehicles in the yard or on the street. What we're not seeing right now is the evidence of the work the city has been doing. Whether it's the police department or there's my code enforcement officer sends out and, and even those are immediate, you see an immediate
Yeah.
threat and you send the code enforcement officer out and people have 10 days to correct it.
Right.
When parking vehicles, like, well, I'm gonna come back in 71 hours and 72, you're gonna get a ticket, but it's moved. And you come back the next day, it's back. So we've got these incest. These recurring things.
So it sounds like something is, so I mean, until we get there too, it sounds like we are trying to do something. I'm not saying we're not, it just, I think the thing for me would be, I would hate to have the perception be in our community that, oh, well, because I have heard it. It's not gonna matter if I park there 72, nobody's gonna do it. Nobody's gonna do anything. And I think I've seen, for example, just the other day, there was a resident who paved their whole front yard. I know that's not allowed. And that's on Burgundy.
That might be good, that's all I know.
Yeah, so and things like that, and someone said that, well, they knew that nobody was gonna do anything. So it's that perception and that message we're sending across. I know that, there is a lot of work behind the scenes being done. I'm not saying that, it's just, we need to start informing our residents. You
And
can't.
me informing you as well, because I've seen the results of code enforcement officers with the board anchor on the property that's on those violations. And before we get back to City Hall, there's a phone call. How can I correct this? I don't want to be in trouble. And within a day, the situation's been cleaned up.
Yeah.
So,
We have successes.
in South Salinas, they do permanent parking. And if you issue one per household, because you figure people have a 2-car garage. Or a 1-car garage, right? They put a vehicle in your driveway. If you have a 2-car driveway, that's still 4 cars. If you have a 3-car driveway, right, there's 3 cars in the driveway, 2 in the garage, that's 5 cars. So the one free permit for street parking would be like the first one, and then you start the second permit is gonna cost you, $100. The third permit.
Salinas, this is in effect right now.
Salinas does permit parking only behind the restaurant, behind the hospital. Where it's permit parking only.
It's commercial property or residential property?
Residential. So if we could, maybe we could do it in a neighborhood as a trial or whatnot, to see if it clears up the street. And then that way, because I see Tense's issue where, you got a Toyota that's this wide, but you have a tow truck that's this wide. Blocking the street, where it's a
I'll look
safety
into
issue.
the matter and then we'll have to see if that's what the city manager and city council want to work on.
Okay,
If we've got a good example of that.
The reason I mentioned it is because like he says, a car is this space and a tow truck is that space, is because it takes up parking space where a resident could park another vehicle there. For example, in my neighborhood, some of the property owners or whoever's renting there, they don't have just 3 cars or 4 cars, they have like 6 or 7. So they're, so they're 1 or 2 in the garage and then 2 in the driveway. And then, so they not only use up what people think is their spaces, but the neighbor's spaces also. So where is the neighbor going to park theirs? Way down the street up over there. So that's my concern. My issue is that they not only take 1 space, but they take 2 spaces. And if it's not in my front yard, but if it was, where am I going to park? And also, if I were to have a gathering of some kind, where are my guests going to park? There's no, like during football games, there's just nowhere to park because all the spaces are taken up. But that's just a couple of hours. But if it's there overnight or during the day, that the tow trucks drivers don't have a call, so that the tow truck is there all day long, And tomorrow, maybe it'll be moved, but then it'll be there for another day or so. I mean, you know, that's what I think
We're
about.
all looking for the magic bullet for quite a while.
Well,
Chair,
that's why I had mentioned the permit, because if you got 3 in the driveway, 2 in the garage, that's 5 cars, and if the rest of them are prorated, you get 1 free.
right, you've got the police and the towing agencies and take your car away and get it out of Hawk, and then you bring it back to the neighborhood and you still have no place to park it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I want to have one more thing.
Yes.
Outside of what we were just talking about. Is the first block of Fourth Street going to be paved, resurfaced like this?
Not immediately, it's on next year's program.
It's
Oh, it
probably
is?
due to the rain, right?
Is that-
Probably because of the rain.
I think it was just
That's-
for money.
Oh,
That's the block that needs it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the next cycle. I know, I was a little disappointed myself, because it's
Okay.
rough.
Also.
But it's coming,
Kanyas.
which is
There are
great.
a lot of streets that need
Yeah.
work.
It's coming.
Okay.
Chair, I forget which way you started for.
We start over here, so. And now move on to business from our community development director.
Done enough. Nothing more today.
Um,
We will have a meeting, sorry, that the city council scooped the second Monday of December, which would have been your meeting. And so there's a meeting, it's gonna be December 15th. Would be the city planning commission on December 15th. And actually have some business here, which is adoption of the building code. And I forgot, did I have one more? Might be 2 items that night, December 15th, on the Monday. Then we'll be into the next year. That'll be the last meeting.
That's together with the city council?
No, city council, they was told your Monday.
Oh,
And, I had to, I got bumped, we got bumped. You know, the 3rd Wednesday of December.
I think we've reached the end of our meeting. Anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn at what is it, 7:45?
I second that motion.
Glad the motion didn't fail.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.